you can test it out for yourself. But if you're feeling sad and you are feeling depressed and you feel you have to talk to a psychiatrist, and you do so, I will make you a bet that the psychiatrist will make it a lot worse. You will feel worse after talking to a psychiatrist. Okay? And the reason why is the system is not designed to cure you of any problems. The system is to make you dependent on authority.
¿Sabes cuánto factura la industria global de antidepresivos? Más de 17,000 millones de dólares en 2024, según datos de IQVIA, mientras 1 de cada 6 adultos en Estados Unidos consume psicofármacos cada día. Cada renovación de recetas suma cientos de dólares a tu seguro médico, y la depresión clínica rompe récords históricos cada año, a pesar de toda esa medicación. A continuación, el profesor Jiang te revela el mapa exacto de por qué fijarte en tu propia mente te mantiene sumiso, mientras ningún noticiero está dispuesto a explicártelo.
We will be discussing him a lot this semester because he is the greatest philosopher in Western history. And he taught us how the world works. And this is what he told us. He told us that we can never know the objective reality. There is an objective reality, what he calls the noumena. Okay? Or the things in themselves. That is not knowable to us. That is a world we can never access. Why? Because we perceive the world through our senses. Our senses, our perception, warps the world and changes it into a structure that we can process, called the phenomena. Which are the things that appear to us. Okay, so the example is time and space. Time and space do not exist outside of us. Time and space do not exist in reality. But for us to understand reality, we need to add in time and space. Okay, that's the example. All right? So, how the world works is we perceive the world, we perceive the noumena, and turn it into the phenomena for us to process. In other words, and this is really important, reality is what we imagine it to be. There is no objective reality. Reality is what we imagine it to be. Life is a constant process, a constant act of imagination. All right? That's Immanuel Kant. That's the first idea I want you to understand. So what I want to do in this class this semester is train you or teach you or inspire you to augment your imagination so that you see the world much more clearly. This class is not about what to think, it's about how to think. All right. All right, so let me explain the structure of the course. So there's past, there's present, and there's future. We'll be looking at all three this semester, the past, the present, and the future. We will be analyzing all three in order to construct a more objective reality for ourselves. We will not succeed, we will fail. But the process of trying will train our minds to think much more critically about the world. So, let me explain how. In the present, we have geopolitics. We'll be studying geopolitics. For example, why is there war in Ukraine? Why is there war in the Middle East? What happened? We'll be studying geopolitics. And we'll try to understand why this is happening. We'll try to formulate an analytical model of geopolitics. Okay, an analytical model. we will then use this analytical model to make predictions about the future. Why do we do this? Because these predictions will tell us if our analytical model is correct or not. Okay? Does that make sense? It's no different from artificial intelligence. How do you know if your artificial intelligence, the model is correct or not? Well, you test it against reality. Okay? There's no difference between that artificial intelligence system and what we're trying to do here. And why are we doing this? Because if we're able to have an analytical model that makes correct predictions, then we can take all this and go back and analyze the past to reveal the secret history of the world. That is a project we are undertaking this semester to discover for ourselves the secret history of humanity. Because you may not know this, but all the history that you learn in school, or that history that you think you know, it is false. Okay? The history that you know, the history that you believe, it is a system implanted into your brains by powerful people. Okay? So the real question that we're looking at this semester is really, how does power work? Because if we can figure this out, then you will achieve liberation. You will achieve freedom. You understand how you're being manipulated by others, and therefore you'll be free. You'll be empowered to live the way you want to live, to see the world that is true to you. So, let me give you 3 concrete examples of how power works.
Esa premisa kantiana de que la realidad es una construcción imaginada fue convertida en un arma política por Edward Bernays en 1928. Como sobrino de Sigmund Freud, Bernays utilizó el psicoanálisis para fundar la industria moderna de las relaciones públicas, convenciendo al público estadounidense de que consumir cigarrillos industriales era un acto de liberación personal. Cuando el poder entiende de que tu realidad es subjetiva, deja de usar batallones militares y empieza a reescribir tus deseos íntimos. El próximo clip te revela el momento histórico exacto, donde la autoridad decidió de que tu felicidad debía convertirse en un proyecto aislado.
Question for us today is, what makes us happy? Come on, what makes you happy? How can you live a happy life? Okay. Well, obviously, money, right? If you have a lot of money, that's gonna make you happy. What else?
Power.
Exactly, power, right? Sure. Power. Excuse me?
Freedom.
Okay, good, freedom. Yeah. What else? Relationships, yep, sure. You have good friends, right? Like lots and lots of friends. What else?
Romantic relationships.
Okay, love, right? Love, sure. What else? Like video games, I guess. Vacations, okay? Lots and lots of things, okay? What you will discover about this list is this. You are thinking about individual happiness. And this is actually unique in human history. If you were to go back in time to 500 years ago, and you ask people, how can you be happy? They would focus more on collective happiness. In other words, if your community were not happy, you cannot be happy. So the very idea of the individual is new in human history. Before, we understood that if you want to live a happy life, you need to take care of your family. You need to take care of your community. For them, for us, throughout most of human history, happiness meant helping others, being generous to others. So, for example, let's just say that I go off and I wander, and then I find a lot of gold, right? I come back, and what's the first thing I do with all this gold? Do you guys know? And this is like the ancient past.
Dig a hole and put them inside.
Okay, yeah, good, right? We're gonna dig a hole and put that money inside because we want to give it to our children. That's a modern mindset. But what did they do before? And this happened throughout every society. If I became rich one day, what's the first thing I would do?
Show off? Show off?
No. Okay, so we'll learn this, okay? But the first thing that people did was they had a big feast for everyone. They spent all the money on a big feast. Because what mattered was your reputation within the community. What mattered was your generosity. If you got rich one day, you made sure that everyone in the community benefited from your wealth, usually by holding a big feast. And guess what, guys? This was true in China for most of Chinese history, right? If you come from a Chinese village, you come to Beijing, you open a restaurant, you make a lot of money, you go out to your village, what's the first thing you do? Come on, guys.
Feast.
You have a big feast for everyone. Okay, so this is ingrained in us, okay? But as you say, today what we believe is, if you have a lot of money, put it underground or put it in the bank, okay? But back then, for most of human history, we would just spend it all on a big feast. We wanted everyone to share in happiness, and that's what made us happy. Okay?
Ese concepto de individuo aislado no es un accidente filosófico, sino el motor burocrático más rentable, jamás diseñado para multiplicar el consumo. Si logras convencer a una población entera de que la felicidad es un proyecto estrictamente privado, cada hogar necesita comprar su propio automóvil, su propia lavadora y su propio sistema de seguridad, en lugar de compartir. La economía estadounidense multiplicó por 10 su mercado inmobiliario desde 1950, simplemente construyendo suburbios aislados que separan a las familias extendidas en cajas individuales. Y la jugada que viene a continuación te demuestra cómo esta fragmentación social te roba tu capacidad defensiva más básica.
And you're going to tell me which understanding you think is correct. In the first understanding, we humans don't have agency. We don't have really control. Why? Because there are powerful gods out there, okay? There are these powerful gods like Apollo, Dionysus. Oh, the problem though is that they are also controlled by other gods that are more powerful, like for example, fate, fortune. And then there are these really ancient gods that control the structure of the universe. For example, maybe anger and pride. So you have absolutely no individual agency because there's always a God screwing with you, okay? You might get rich, but then the God of pride looks at you and says, no, I need to teach this mortal a lesson. So the God comes into me, makes me too arrogant, and I screw up, okay? So we're always being controlled by these forces beyond our understanding. Okay, so that's a first worldview. The second worldview is this. We are synapses that generate memories. Okay? We are memories. Our understanding of the world comes from our experience. That is controlled by synapses. Synapses come from a combination of DNA and environment. Our genes and our interaction with the environment, our experiences. And what this means is that we can now have control over our own individual fate. If you're angry, it's because some experience or some genes made you angry, and this anger becomes reinforced in your memories. And therefore, if you do proper therapy, if you do proper reflection, if you do some exercises, you can better control your anger and therefore control your fate. Okay? So in the first worldview, there are lots and lots of gods. They're evil and they're random, and we have absolutely no control over our fate. We can only hope to get lucky in life and not piss off the gods. In the second worldview, we are only a collection of our memories and we are only synapses. So if we're able to manipulate the memories and the synapses in a proper way, we can be free of all problems. We can be free of anger. We can be free of depression. We can be free of misery. All right? Let me ask you this question. Which worldview is a more accurate reflection of reality? Obviously the second one, right? Because this is neuroscience, science, or psychology or psychiatry. This is what you've been taught in school. This is what you all believe. Our entire society is structured around this very idea. And what you will learn in this class is it is completely wrong. It is the first one that is more accurate reflection of reality. The first one gives you more information, gives you a more accurate assessment of how the world really works. Okay? So now let me ask you this question. If the first worldview, and this is what we call polytheism, and polytheism for most of human history was the dominant religion, okay? Now we live in a world where the religion is science. Science is basically religion. So, why did we make this transition? What's the benefit? If you're a powerful person, why would you prefer the second one as opposed to the first one? Why? What's the benefits to powerful people? What does power want to believe the second one, but not the first one?
They can blame you on failure.
Yeah, okay. So the idea of individual responsibility. Okay? So then there's more control. Okay? It's easier to control people in the system. Right? That's the first benefit. What's the second benefit? The second benefit is you will work harder, right? Because in the first system, you're like, you know what? I don't need to go make a lot of money because if I make a lot of money, the gods will punish me and make me proud. So I'm just gonna enjoy life and take it easy. All right? So in the second system, no, I have control over my own life. So I need to work hard. Okay, so and again, the entire point of the system is to make you work as hard as possible, because when you work hard, that generates real wealth for the powerful people. Money does nothing, okay? Money just incentivizes you to work hard. So this exists in order to make you work harder. And there's one more benefit, or there's more benefits, but what's another benefit? Okay, the other benefit is this. Powerlessness. It makes you powerless. Why? This system is designed to make you absolutely powerless. Why?
You can't control anything.
Why?
Everything is controlled by gods and fate.
No. You see again, this is how you're brainwashed. You believe one makes you powerless, but that's not correct. Two makes you powerless. Why? What's the difference between 1 and 2? Why is it in number 2 you are powerless?
You're playing in the game that who has the power wants you to.
Okay. So the problem with number 2 is you are incapable of collective action. Because you think all the source of your problems is the individual in you and not society. But number 1, you are capable of collective action. And the only way to change the world is through collective action. Does that make sense? This is a really important point. 2 is designed to make you think the source of all your problems is within you. So you should ignore what other people do and think. It doesn't matter to you. And therefore, you're incapable of identifying with other people. You're not capable of collective action. If you're not capable of collective action and you feel really miserable, what you will do is play video games or watch porn all day. Okay? And that's what's happening in society today. Yeah?
Esa parálisis, provocada por la culpa interna, tiene un paralelo histórico exacto en las huelgas laborales del siglo XIX estadounidense. En 1894, la corporación Pullman redujo fuertemente los salarios de sus obreros ferroviarios en Chicago. Para frenar las protestas, la prensa publicó manuales argumentando que la pobreza de los trabajadores era simplemente culpa de su propia pereza. Cuando te convencen de que tu precariedad es un fracaso psicológico personal, dejas de organizar asambleas colectivas y empiezas a pagar terapias individuales. Lo que sigue te demuestra cómo la medicina moderna reemplazó a la religión para gestionar este mismo mecanismo de domesticación.
If you're ever feeling sad and you are depressed, what should you do? What should you do? What have you been taught to do? If you feel sad, you're depressed, what should you do? Okay, yeah, the correct answer is walk around, but that's not what you've been taught, right? What have you been taught to do? Okay, telling your friend, telling your parent, that's actually really good, right? So walking around, exercising, resting, talking to a friend about your problem, that's all really good. But what have you been taught to do in school? Really? If you are feeling really, really sad, what should you do? You should go talk to a psychiatrist, right? You should talk to a psychologist. And what will he do? What will he or she do? Okay, well, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice, okay? And you can test it out for yourself. But if you're feeling sad and you are feeling depressed and you feel you have to talk to a psychiatrist, and you do so, I will make you a bet that the psychiatrist will make it a lot worse. You will feel worse after talking to a psychiatrist. Okay? And the reason why is the system is not designed to cure you of any problems. The system is to make you dependent on authority. You know that if you feel sad, well, you know what? Just go for a walk, talk to a friend, you'll feel better over time. But the system teaches you, no, if you feel sad, go talk to a psychiatrist who will give you drugs. It's designed to make you dependent on authority, yeah?
I want to ask, like, in scenario one, rule number one, wouldn't God also be an authority?
Esa dependencia médica hacia la autoridad profesional oculta una pregunta aterradora sobre qué pasaría si consideramos que la epidemia actual de ansiedad no es un desequilibrio químico del cerebro, sino una respuesta biológica completamente sana frente a un entorno económico hostil. En 1970, el estrés laboral agudo se consideraba un problema estructural de las fábricas, pero hoy, la industria farmacéutica gasta casi $40,000 millones anuales en marketing, para convencerte de que tu agotamiento crónico se soluciona comprando una píldora patentada. Y aquí llega la parte incómoda, sobre cómo esta perspectiva clínica destruye lo que las civilizaciones antiguas consideraban la verdadera cumbre de la experiencia humana.
Explain to you both systems, and I will do so. But what's really important about number one is the gods are really bad people, okay? The gods in number one, the polytheistic system, they fight all the time. They're vengeful, they're angry, they're proud, but because they're gods, they can get away with it. And that's the difference between humans and gods. We're all the same. We're all angry. We're all jealous. We all fight, okay? But the gods can get away with it. The humans cannot. Gods can do hubris. We cannot do hubris. Do you understand? So the idea that, the people in power are benevolent. The people in power are authority figures who are after our best interest. That is a new modern concept. Before, it was assumed that the king is a king. Why? Because he's favored by the gods. It's not because he's a good person. It's not because he's a just ruler. It's just because the gods like him for whatever reason. But guess what? The gods give and the gods take. Maybe today, the king will rule us, but maybe 5 years from now, he gets unlucky and the gods kill him. Too bad. If you read Greek mythology, and we will do so in this class, okay? We'll go over into Greek civilization. We'll look at Oedipus. We'll look at Homer, the Iliad, okay? They talk about this all the time. Fate is something that you cannot control. It's something that happens to you. And therefore, you must live life to your best. All right? So the difference is this. The difference is In number 1, they have a concept called eudaimonia. If you have no control over your fate, if things can happen to you tomorrow that kill you, then live your life to the best of your ability today. Seize the day. Be the best that you can be today. And that's how you win favor from the gods. Eudaimonia, what we call flourishing. The point of life is to live it to the best of your ability. And that's why, guess what, guys? The ancients, the Greeks, they were superior to us. If you read Greek literature, if you read Greek philosophy, Plato, Homer, Aeschylus, Euripides, they were the best. Today, we suck. Why? Because instead of eudaimonia, we have pleasure. Rather than flourish as creative people, we're like, how do I enjoy my life today? How do I not feel sad? Okay? So in the first system, even though it sounds like we have no control, we have no agency, but it inspires us to live to the best of our ability. In the second system, we're like, oh, you have complete control of your life, it enslaves us.